behind the scenes there. Cathy's just laughing because she forgot to press record and we nearly launched into episode 89. Get your head down. We're talking sleeping mats. Hiya, Cathy, all right?
Well,
Yeah, can
clearly,
you
I
speak?
need more sleep because, do you know what? It is like one of my freakouts to actually record or think I've recorded an entire podcast, but not actually press the button.
Yeah,
I haven't done it
absolutely.
yet. I'm touching lots of wood.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, flipping heck, that would be an absolute nightmare. So yeah, it wasn't the swirly thing went on my screen. So I thought, yeah, she said hit record, and then anyway. So yeah, we're talking sleeping mats today. So yeah, I have a lot to say on the subject, and I'm sure everyone listening will be shouting at the radio as we say, listening to us on this one for all sorts of reasons. And yeah, yeah. For those of you who've not had the I was going to say pleasure. I'm not sure that that's the right word. The
Oh,
pleasure of meeting.
I think you should say pleasure.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm 6'6" and 15 stone, so I'm quite big. Quite big frame. So most sleeping mats that I've encountered, I've struggled with at one time or another for various reasons. But and the old fashioned the foam mat back in the day. I know we were both air cadets back in the day as well, weren't we? So
Oh, we were.
that
Yeah.
that was my first experience of a sleeping mat, and tech has gone a bit further in some respects that they are
Oh,
still
it
available,
has.
aren't they?
It
But
has.
yeah, yeah, let's explore a bit more about the types of mat that are available, Cathy. What's available to us?
Oh, well, that yellow carry mat was, I mean, carry mat became the name that was
Yes,
synonymous, wasn't it? It was a brand
yeah.
made by Carrymore, but yeah, it became synonymous. And the great big roll of very thin foam that was there to keep you insulated from the ground was a stalwart on everybody's sleeping mat, wasn't it? On
Was it
top or
though?
bottom of the rucksack.
Yeah. Did it insulate us though? Yeah, anyway, that's it. Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah,
it's the same. Like, not all closed cell foam is equal to other closed cell
yeah,
foam, is it? And I know the carry mat, you couldn't rip the stuff. It was bomb proof. And whereas I can remember there was a £5 foam mat, and those did used to rip. Things, as you say, quite rightly, things have come on a lot. So we've got those closed cell foams. They're really durable, and often people would sort of, as they got to the end of their life, chop them up and turn them into extra insulation for flasks or roof bar padding on roof racks for boats and stuff like that. You know, they had lots and lots of uses, but they were extremely light, and you could get inexpensive ones as well. But of course, they were bulky. So moving on today, we've got self-inflating mats, which have been around for sort of 30, 40 years. I think Thermarest was probably the first one of those that came out, foam filled so that they trap the air inside. Super easy to use, really good insulation, but they were heavier than the closed cell foam mats. And then, of course, you've got inflatable ones, modern inflatable mats. So not like the old rubber airbeds of old. These ones have an incredible structure within them, sometimes cell based, to make sure that that air stays where it's put. The air that your body heats up at the top doesn't cool and sink down and mean that you're freezing cold. So that's the kind of three different categories. And the inflatable ones, actually, it's worth just saying, some of those are super compact these days, and they probably tend to be the most comfortable as well because you get a bit of thickness. But they do require inflation, and they can puncture. So there's pros and cons to all of them. And as always, it depends what your end goal is as to how to make a decision to see which one's the best one for you.
My brain's going off all over the place as you're talking as well, with different experiences at different times. So I know as we record this, one of my mates is just flying out. Sorry, he's in Morocco for the Marathon des Sables, and I used a thermarest. I used a half thermarest as my sleeping mat when I went out. So it came from my bum to my head, basically, and that was it. And then yeah, we used rucksack as a pillow or to have your feet on, and that actually weirdly worked pretty well because we had like a rug in down in our tent and the thermarest on top of that, and yeah, mostly worked pretty well despite the stony ground of the Sahara. Then there's like you said, there's all those experiences of being with family holidays and getting the old cigarette lighter to inflate it. But I guess we're not at quite at that extreme, are we? But yeah, I guess the thermarest was that I had was really really thin, but rolled up really really tight as well. So it took up no room. I think it, well, yeah, I don't know. It was something like 400 grams or something like that, if that. I don't know, maybe. But yes, and that I guess, yeah, where I'm going with this is it a matter of the thicker the better as far as sleeping mats go? Do we want a nice big thick thing, even if it's like inflated to be thick?
Yeah,
Or
it can be. And generally speaking, general rule of thumb is the thicker, the warmer.
right.
But there is actually a much better method of finding out how warm your mat is going to be. And
Oh,
that,
there's always a scientist, isn't
oh,
there?
there is,
There's
there
always
is.
somebody who's got. Can we get Doctor Sleeping Mat on at some point? Sorry, God.
Oh, I would love to get Dr. Sleeping. I have met Dr. Sleeping Matt
Yeah, no, I know, I was
I
joking. I
have,
didn't
yeah,
realize he was
ex-vet
there. Sorry, right?
in Switzerland.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what his name was?
No, go on.
Matt.
No, you.
Seriously, yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah. He designed and built the special testing machine for sleeping mats. His name actually is Matt. Thoroughly nice and
I,
extremely knowledgeable chap.
no way, and I'm looking at the date, and we're not recording this on the 1st of April as well. Weirdly, so
No,
I did
no,
have a I
yeah,
did have a
yeah.
moment then. I was like, hang on a minute, just pulling my leg here. It's incredible.
Oh,
So sorry. Anyway, go back to
yeah.
the science of it. Sorry. And
Yeah,
yeah,
so well, back in
blown that.
2019, a number of really key brands got together and agreed that there should be a benchmark to be able to give people a real indication or like for like indication of how warm a sleeping mat is going to keep you. So, along with the Advanced Standards Transforming Markets Agency, they came up or agreed and came up with a method of measurement and using this particular machine. And that was all brought in January 2020. So what you'll see is the letters ASTM, and that's the standard, next to the word R value. And that R value is a measure of thermal resistance. So it proves that it's been tested to a standardized protocol in a laboratory. So you can compare one manufacturer against the other. Now, simple terms is the higher the R value number, the more thermally resistant or warmer the mat. So, for example, where you were when you were out on the Marathon des Sables, you wasn't going to be on frozen ground. You're going to be on warmer ground. So you could get away with using a mat with a rating of 1 to 2.5. That's ideal for use in warmer climates, or maybe if you're using like wooden sleeping platforms in alpine
A bit
huts
off the
or
ground.
in
Yeah, yeah,
bothies. Yeah, exactly. A mat with a rating of 2.5 to 4 is ideal for use in summer and when there's a possibility of a mild ground frost. And then looking at R value mats 4 to 5.5, those, if you're going to be going out and about when there's a likelihood of heavy ground frost, then those are going to give you a warm night's sleep. And then an R value 5.5 plus, well, that's going to protect you from frozen ground in extreme environments. Or if you're like me and you sleep really cold, it's then you can opt for a higher R value mat,
yeah,
and that's going to keep you toasty. Now, the mat is also a really important part of your sleeping system used with the sleeping
yeah,
bag. And sometimes people opt for a warmer mat to carry a lighter or less bulky sleeping bag. So there's ways you can sort of experiment there and get around sort of weight and bulk. But yeah, there's it doesn't necessarily mean that the thicker the mat, the better. But the
yeah,
thicker the mat, the more comfier.
yeah. Yeah, and that, sorry, I've been sat with my jaw dropped for most of Cathy's explanation there as you went through the science. I'm like, oh, I can't believe that was the case. Because the next question is, how do you know a comfy mat? How do you know how comfy a mat is going to be? And one of those, in my experience, you've got to sleep on it. But I'm guessing that there's probably more science behind that as well now, courtesy of Dr. Matt, the sleeping doctor.
Oh, well,
Does it? Do we have an R value for sleep or an S value for sleep?
a C value for
C
comfort.
value for comfort. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, sadly, no, because we're not
Oh
all
no.
sleeping in a laboratory.
Oh, no, I'm genuinely gutted now. I thought you were going to absolutely blow my mind again. Then, well, actually, Wayne, yes, there is a C value. No, amazing.
No, I mean, comfort. If we look at, first of all, comfort through warmth, there's two ways that you lose heat through a mat, and one is convective and one is radiant. So convective is when the warmth from your body is transferred and lost to the ground through air movement inside the mat, and radiant is when body heat transmits through the lightweight fabrics and the air gaps, or maybe parts of your body are touching the ground. So none of those are any good because they're going to, make you feel cold. But there's lots of things that have been done with technologies that can change the construction, or fabrics that are used inside that can make a difference. And sometimes brands will use a metallized or a TPU film in the construction, and TPU is like thermoplastic urethane, and that's reflective, and that reflects your body heat back to you, but obviously doesn't weigh very much. So that's been a real leap forward in the last few years. But now, one thing to be aware of is not all metallized films are equal, and cheaper ones can break down really quickly. They can also be quite crinkly as well. The earlier inflated mats, they were definitely crinkly. They were a real surprise. After sleeping on thermarest for a lot of years, I tried out an insulated mat, and it was really crinkly. I didn't like it. It was noisy. It kept me awake.
I was going to say that,
Um,
not yeah, that as you're rustling
yeah,
about in the night, yeah.
yeah. Now, things like companies using TPU and like Nemo or Sea to Summit, who are using particular, almost like stretchy films, those are working really well, and they don't crinkle. They're very, very quiet and nice to sleep on. But then, of course, you've got that kind of thermal insulative element, but you've also got shape as well. And as you said, you've used a 3/4 length one, so you've got your body insulated, and then you can stick your feet on your rucksack, head on a pillow, and that's a great way to knock down bulk and weight. But if anybody goes on our websites and checks out our sleeping mat page, you will find there's rectangular, there's mummy shape, there's wide, there's extra wide, there's long, there's short, there's tapered. There's a massive array of shapes and thicknesses, and this is where actually fitting can come in handy, and actually coming into the shops and getting them inflated and laying down and making sure, as a 6'6" person, that all of you is on, and if you're a side sleeper, if you're a back sleeper, that makes a difference as well. So that's a really important thing to check on comfort as well. Some mats have tubes, raised tubes on either side, and that kind of cocoons you in. So if you roll over on your side, the sleeping mat doesn't squish down. You don't roll off and down a hill. That's always depressing, especially when you're in a bivy bag. But yeah, that makes a big difference. And also when you're laying on it, you can see and feel how much the mat wobbles beneath you, because different constructions, whether it's tube, whether it's closed cell, will make a really big difference, or sort of foam. So we always suggest, come and
Give
try
it
it
a
out.
try. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
then I guess then, yeah, you could always, bring your sleeping bag as well and see how that works.
yeah, why
I
not?
think the other thing that that I was thinking of as we were talking there, I think it was Climate brand, which are like the body shaped. I don't know, it felt a bit coffiny once,
Yeah,
but it was very tubular thing, and I fit absolutely perfectly in the, I think it was the XL, yeah, fairly
mm,
obviously, I guess, and that was absolutely amazing to sleep on. But it did very much. I'm not. I normally end up lying on my side in the night, but I didn't on that because it was,
yeah,
sort of cocooning me, almost cradling me, and it was really good for that reason. But yeah, because the old favorite is you lie on your side, don't you? And then yeah, your hip touches the ground or whatever, and
yeah,
all the heat gets sucked out of you through that.
yeah,
I guess I was just when you were talking about was it the TPU, the sort of the metally coating? I was also thinking, I'm not sure whether you recommended this, was getting a silk liner for your sleeping bag to add an extra layer and have a, have
yeah,
a, have a bit of extra warmth as well. And that's just been a game changer for me. Just carrying that tiny little package of us, like it is just like another small sleeping bag, isn't it? But made of silk or made of something. Another, yeah, because there's nylon ones, I guess, around, and
yeah.
other,
There's
yeah,
man-made
or anything.
fibers.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of the pure silk ones can be pretty pricey these days.
yeah,
But there's all manner of different ones, and you're absolutely right. Just for a tiny small amount of weight and pack size, you can really boost your bag. You can also keep it clean
yeah,
because you can
yeah,
wash your silk liner really easily. So if you're doing something like an ultra event, and you want to keep your bag clean, and you want to, because the minute kind of all your body oils go into a down bag, especially, they're gonna contaminate it and it won't keep you as warm. So definitely for longevity of your sleeping bag as well, silk liner
as
definitely wins
as
out.
as well as stinking. That's the other thing. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that
Yeah.
cleaning down sleeping bags just is not easy at all, is it? Yeah, washing them was is a
No, I mean it
yeah.
is
It was I find
doable,
it. Yeah,
but you can do it at home. You just need to be careful if you're moving them when they're wet, because you can actually break, without realizing, you can break internal meshes and stuff. But all of the key sleeping bag manufacturers will actually provide a down bag washing service for you, which is always, yeah, it's well worth doing. The
yeah,
bag
cool.
comes
Yeah,
back
I like
amazing.
that top plug. Yeah, and then yeah, we talked about self-inflating mattresses and so on, and how you don't need a cigarette lighter to cart into the middle of nowhere to use your car to inflate them. They do, yeah, generally come with the mouth air pump, isn't it? Yeah,
Well,
puff to
you
blow
can
them up.
use your mouth to inflate them, but ideally there is a move away from that because that will put moisture inside your sleeping mat. Moisture
Right.
is
Okay.
a far less insulating element than air.
Yeah.
Basically, you want
Yeah.
dry
Okay.
air in your mat as
Yeah.
much as possible, and that's why you see a lot of modern mats come in with either they have like a there's a dry pump sack. Different brands have
Yeah.
different
Like a
names
little
for them.
squeezy thing. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
doing
and
like
my
this. This.
favourite,
Yeah.
yeah, is the schnozzel from Exped,
Yeah.
which is just, yeah, a great big tubular piece. Some of them have them built into their bag, so you can't lose them. But actually, these air pumps, they're so easy to use. I was kind of worried about. I took a Nemo Tensor on the Cape Wrath trip, and that was the first time I'd used one, and it was so easy. It was so easy. You literally just open the bag. If you want to, you can lean back and just put a little breath into it and then close it down and roll it in. And there's maybe 5, 6 times you do that, and then suddenly your mat's fully inflated.
Right.
So that was really surprising and very, very easy to use. Some of the Sea to Summit mats actually, they just have two handprints on the mat. So the pump's integral and you just pump that. So you don't have
No
anything that you
way.
could possibly lose. Yeah,
Oh wow.
they're
Cool.
cool. Yeah, yeah. And then actually Exped make a really cool little electric pump, battery powered pump. It's really efficient, and that can work super well as well. And then with your traditional Thermarest self-inflating valves, you've got yeah, the self-inflating mats. If your altitude especially, that can, be really handy. You can just unlock your valve. You can leave it there to inflate while you go and have some food, while you cook your tea, and then come back. And you don't have to expend anywhere near as much energy. So it is, it's like all these things. There's always pros and cons, but yeah, we can talk about that whenever folks are in the shop and what they're thinking and what their priority is.
Yeah. And that again, it's going for the how you're going to be using it, where you're going to be
Yeah,
using it. It would might
yeah.
alter, yeah, whether you're not bothered about spending energy inflating a mattress or whatever, or
Yeah.
if you're a nutcase going on the that's going to inflate a bunch of balloons, which I've heard a few people do. Like long, yeah,
I
and
heard
lying,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically assembling balloons to lie on overnight.
Yeah,
And then
I
yeah,
think that quickly got poo-pooed, didn't it? They
yeah,
were
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. As soon as they lied on them, they popped. And I am absolutely rubbish on this. Is how can I make my mat last longer? Because it's like, yeah, you've slept on it overnight. You roll it up, strap it up so it's not going to ping off or anywhere, and then stick it in my pack. And that's I probably just leave it like that when I get home. But that's probably not the best thing to do, is it?
It's not ideal, and I mean we're all guilty of this, aren't we?
Yeah,
And it's a generational thing, I think. In days of old, people used to spend a lot of time looking after their kit. We've all got a bit lazy, but honestly, it can just make such a difference to how long your piece of kit lasts. And it's a big investment. Some of these big
yeah.
mats, they're not cheap. So it is really easy to look after them and store them as well. So you can get like grease and dirt from body sweat and mud and spillages, and all of these can lead to sort of your sleeping mat breaking down early. So it's literally just keeping it washed with a bit of mild soap and warm water on a sunny day. Wipe your mat down after you've used it, rinse it out, or and just allow it to air dry completely. So if you've been away on a trip, just let your mat just sit there with all the valves open and dry if you've got space to hang it out, or you can just pop it under your bed and leave it on top of a wardrobe, tucked down behind a door, tucked around behind a door. There's all sorts of places where they're not going to get in the way, but they can
But
just
sorry,
stay in.
disturbing you, but leave it flat or leave
Yeah,
rather
flat
than
or
rolled
upright.
up. Yeah,
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 flat or
sorry, yeah,
upright.
yeah,
Yeah, certainly for the self-inflated ones. Yeah, that's really important. It just means you're going to prolong the lifespan because if particularly your self-inflated ones, if they're stored tightly rolled in the stuff sack, yeah, they're not going
yeah,
to spring back to life quite as readily. And making sure they're super dry before you put them away, it can really help protect your mat against moisture from the inside and mildew building up from the
mm,
inside as well. So yeah, yeah, it's worth doing, and it's all part of the
yeah,
fun. You've been away on your trip, you've had all those great memories with it. Just give it a little bit of TLC before you put it away,
yeah.
ready for the next one.
And I guess don't one of my mates had left his out in the sunshine with the baffles closed, as in it was inflated and basically it popped because
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
air had expanded. So don't do that. Don't leave it out in the
No,
sunshine, sealed up and fully inflated, because yeah,
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
like
Just
that at
just
all. Yeah,
before, if
yeah,
you're leaving it in a tent in particular, they get super
mm,
hot.
yeah,
Just undo it before you leave it, and leave it deflated, and that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not going to
yeah.
come back to any heinous
Oh, he
nightmares.
was absolutely gutted. He was best.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
Anyway, yeah, yeah. And that is,
Yeah.
I've been massive on that ever since for that reason. And then, yeah, you mentioned a bit earlier about popping your mat, and yeah, that's can they be repaired?
Yeah,
What can we do about them if they do get
yeah.
a bit damaged?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, actually stock a wide range of spares, including patches, valves, tapes, glues, all manner of stuff. So, but actually, a lot of the brands that we sell in particular, they actually come with their own little repair kit as well. So
Yeah,
everything's there. And companies like Exped, you just hop onto their YouTube channel and they've got a full how-to of how to fix your mat and like almost a permanent repair level. It looks amazing what you can
yeah.
do. And all of the brands, again, all the brands we deal with, Sea to Summit, Nemo, Thermarest, Mountain Equipment, they've all got excellent after sales and warranty
Yeah.
departments as well. So if something goes that you can't readily fix, like the valve, then often it can be repaired, and just keep you using your kit for as long as possible.
Well, that's cool, isn't it? Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that before, but the YouTube channel thing is amazing, isn't it? For
Oh,
repairing kit like
yeah,
that,
there's
it's
all
just yeah,
sorts on there.
yeah.
Actually, one thing I forgot to mention, particularly when it comes to R value, is there are women's specific mats. And you'll often find the same mat in a women's specification, and it's actually got a higher R value because we tend to sleep cooler than men, and we lose heat a lot more readily through our hips and bums. So I've got a women's Thermarest Pro Light, and that's it's 1.5 R rating higher than my husband's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's been brilliant. And it's actually just a shorter
Mm,
shape as well, so it's
high
slightly
body.
less bulkier as well. So yeah, what you get in extra insulation, you kind of lose in bulk.
Oh, that's cool, isn't it? Yeah. When did they start making those then? Is that a relatively recent thing, or have they been around for quite a while?
Probably, I'm trying to think how old they are. I think those ones are about 10 years old. I think our oldest
Yeah. Okay.
thermarest we've got in the family is, oh, yeah, no, we've still got one
Don't
that
say it.
is
Don't say it.
oh gosh, yeah, it's over 32 years old, our original green thermarest. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't come out that often these days, but we've still got it. We can't part with it.
Yeah, of course I know. Yeah, yeah. All that old kit that you can't part with. I know that's just got me thinking. I've got no idea where all my mats are. I've actually moved house not long ago, and
Oh
everything's still
yeah, oh
in
yeah, yeah.
disarray.
No,
So my
that puts
kit's
everything in
absolutely
disarray.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do you
that
not have
that's
them
another.
alphabetically stored in a garage, no?
I don't know. Everything's currently crammed in what's termed the sun house, which is a shed out on the back of them. Literally, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
that's a tale
well,
for another
I
time,
expect
isn't
to
it? Yeah.
see them filed by R rating next time
Yeah,
I
yeah,
visit.
exactly. Well, yeah, and all my rucksacks likewise, and all the and all the wetsuits, and all the etc. It's I think some of it might have to go on vinted, unfortunately. But anyway, that's yeah, he's not getting as much. And, yeah, and, well, and back to your favourite, and all the stoves aligned in
Yeah,
certain
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Look
in
after the
order of
stoves. Mm.
antiquity or something. Antiquity, the age. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, is there anything else? I was trying to think. I think I've barged in with most of my questions or statements or whatever as I've gone through, to be honest. But
Well, there is
the other
also
thing's
another
something
really
else.
interesting little addition that's popped up over the last few years, and that's that some mats include a pillow lock. So some of them make a corresponding pillow, and you can
Yes.
actually lock it on to the top of your mat so it doesn't disappear off. So I've had a couple of bivvies where I hate doing up. I've got it's not a hooped bivvy bag, and I hate doing up the zip fully, even when it's grim weather. And I've woken up a few times and found that my my
In a
my
pool of
pillow,
water.
my much coveted pillow has wormed its way out of the bag, which is very disappointing and got wet. But yeah, so you can actually get some with pillow locks, which is a slightly genius little piece of design, I think.
It is, but then I always like packing. I love the fact that like down jackets, gilets,
Yeah,
stuff like that. I pack it, they can pack into their own that
yeah.
zip pocket, can they? And that's what I always do. I just end up with my pillow or my jacket as a pillow. But then I guess yeah, when it gets really cold, you want to put it on, and then you've got no pillow, have you? Sorry, I hadn't thought a pillow's too much of a luxury, I think. But it was just before, yeah, just before I started recording, I was looking at those with the pillow attachments for some of
Oh,
them.
the
Yeah, that like
downfill pillows, they're
yeah,
something of
wow,
beauty. Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
actually, I've got because I'm really tight, I've got a little travel pillow, but it's so small it goes down into like a 2 inch cube, and I cover that in like a mid layer, and it's super fluffy on the inside, so it's very lightweight, and that works a treat.
yeah, awesome. So don't
Yeah.
forget your pillows, I guess, whilst we're talking sleeping mats. The subject is
No, no, take a
get your head
pillow
down. So
very
don't forget your
seriously.
pillow. Yeah,
Yeah, because these
yeah,
days, for taking up a very small amount of weight and space, they can make a big difference to your
oh
night's sleep. And
yeah,
if you're not rested properly, you can't enjoy your adventures ahead. And if you're in technical terrain, if you're on expedition,
mm,
if you're working remotely, you need to be able to make decisions, and you can only do that with a good sleep. Or if you're on an
yeah.
ultra, you need to be able to recover, and your muscles need to be able to recover, and you can only do that with a good sleep. So it's really, really, really
Important.
important.
And it
Yeah.
is you're quite right. I am useless without a good night's sleep. I am.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, I need full 8 hours at least, if not more sometimes. But anyway, that's yeah. Again, that's another tale. Yeah. So ultra sleep isn't it sleep at all, is it? But yeah, there's it. Yeah. Anything else? I think we've covered all the subjects we wanted to, haven't we? There's
yeah.
nothing.
I think
Yeah, I think we're
no, I think we've done this fair justice,
we've.
and
Yeah, yeah,
I think the key thing is just work out what your priority is. Is it warmth? Is it compactness? Is it lightweight? And you can take your decision from there. But as I say, if you're unsure, the easiest thing in the world is just to come in the shop, or call us up, have a chat. We've got a huge range on our website at climbers-shop.com, but also we've got a load of additional information and also links to some of those YouTube videos that we spoke about on our Joe Brown Outdoor Academy website. And you can just find that by searching Joe Brown Outdoor Academy.